9 on solving with the quadratic formula and looking for a discriminant. So again, this is 9. All right, well, if you remember the quadratic formula, x equals negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Now, before you start your problem, you always have to make sure that the equation they are giving you is in standard form. Standard form would be ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. It should be set equal to 0. You should have your x squared, your x, and then your constant, which would be the number that does not have a variable next to it, so it should go in that order. You never want to move your ax squared. So if your ax squared is on one side and your other two numbers are on the other side of the equal sign, those are the ones that you want to move. Your a is always your number in front of x squared. B is always the number in front of x. And c is always your constant. Okay, so now that we have gone over those basics, let's go ahead and start a problem. If I give you a problem like this, we have 6x squared plus 5x minus 4 equals 0. So the first thing we want to verify is that it is in the correct order. Well, we have x squared, x, no x, and it's set equal to 0. So very good. This is my a, this is my b, and this is my c. So once you have all that, you just plug it in. Again, here's the formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. So let's just go ahead and swap out these letters for the value of each. So instead of negative b, I'm going to have negative 5 plus or minus the square root. Okay, instead of b squared, I'm going to have 5 squared minus 4, those are givens, times a, my a is 6, times c, and my c is negative 4. All right, let's divide this all by 2 times a, which is 6. Now we're going to go ahead and simplify this all the way down as far as we can at this point. So we have negative 5 plus or minus the square root. Well, 5 squared is going to be 25. Negative 4 times 6 times negative 4 is going to give you a negative 96. So, or a positive 96, excuse me, because a negative and a negative equals a positive. So we'll go ahead and just do that now. Divided by 12. All right. Now let's go ahead and solve this out even further. So we're going to do 25 plus 96. Well, 25 plus 96 is going to give me the square root of 121. So I'm going to have negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 121 divided by 12. Well, your square root of 121 is 11, so this is going to equal 11. So I'm going to have negative 5 plus 11 divided by 12, negative 5 minus 11 divided by 12. And remember, that's because you have to split those two factors and do two different problems. So when we go to solve, you're going to get half as your first answer, and you're going to get negative 4/3 as your second answer, or you could go ahead and make that into a mixed number if you like. What if you have it not in standard form? So it looks something like this. you have x squared equals x plus 20. All right, as you can tell, this is not set equal to 0 and it's not in standard form. Reminder, you do not want to move this one, okay, because then you change your graph. It's just easier to move everybody else. So keeping the x squared there, I need to move x to this side. So I'm going to take the opposite and make it negative x. And I'm going to move the 20 to this side of the equation, taking its opposite, making it negative 20. Now there's nothing left over here, which means it's set equal to 0. Let's find our A, B, and our C. Our A for this one is going to be 1. Our B is going to be negative 1. And our C is going to be negative 20. Formula is negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C divided by 2 times A. All right, let's go ahead and work this out. Let's go ahead and plug in our variables. So we have negative b, which is negative 1. A negative and negative would make that a positive 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So it's going to be negative 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 2 divided by 2 times 1. Now let's simplify. Start simplifying this down. We have 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus, well, negative 4 times 1 times negative 2 is going to give me plus, oh, not 2, 20. 20. Thought that looked a little funny. Plus 20 is going to give me 80. Divided by 2 times 1, which is going to be 2. Now, if you see right here, 1 plus 80 is going to give me the square root of 81. So I would get 1 plus or minus the square root of 81 divided by 2. All right, so now let's go ahead and square root 81, which we all know equals 9. So I'm going to have 1 plus 9 divided by 2 and 1 take away 9 divided by 2. Again, because we need to split those two factors. So our final answer is going to be x equals 5 and x equals negative 4. All right. Now let's talk about discriminant. Your discriminant is going to use a different formula. The discriminant formula is going to be b squared minus 4ac. Notice there's no square root. Okay, you do not need to use a square root for this. So what if I gave you the problem x squared minus 4x plus 3? All right, so we're going to go ahead and plug in our numbers in for our variables. Again, this is your A, which is 1. Your B, which is negative 4. Don't forget the sign. And your C, which is 3. So we're going to get B squared, which will be negative 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3. Let's go ahead and simplify this down. You're going to get 16 take away 12, which is going to equal 4. Notice that this is a positive number 4. So your discriminant for this one is going to be 4. Let's go ahead and look at another one. We have 3x squared minus 2x plus 2 equals 0. My A is 3. My B is negative 2. And my C is 2. So let's plug those in. I get b squared, which is going to be negative 2 squared, minus 4 times 3 times 2. Simplifying that down, I get 4 take away 24, which is going to give me a negative 20. Now, because you cannot have a negative discriminant, your answer here is going to be no real solutions. You cannot have a negative discriminant. All right. How about this one? We have 2x squared plus 11x plus 12 equals 0. Our A is 2, our B is 11, and our C is 12. Plug those values in. We get b squared, which is 11 squared, minus 4 times A, which is 2, times C, which is 12. Simplify that down. You get 121 minus 96. 121 take away 96 gives you a positive 25. So, since it is positive, that tells you that there are 2 real solutions, at least, for this problem. Okay? Now, let's go ahead. So, just a quick note, remember, positive equals 2 real solutions. All right, let's try this one. We get x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals 0. Your A is 1, your B is 8, and your C is 16. Your B squared, which is going to be 8 squared, minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is 16. Simplify that down, and I get 64 take away 64, which gives me the answer of 0. You can have 0. 0 just means that there's going to be one real solution. Your discriminant tells you that there's going to be one real solution there. All right, reminder, you cannot have negatives. When you get a negative, it's no real solution. If you get 0, it's only one real solution. And anything that's positive tells you there's at least 2 real solutions. All right, I hope that helps.